Sales information for half of the Memorial Day long weekend is out, and you know what? It's actually not that bad for Anheuser-Busch. It's way better than expected, but this is just for Friday and Saturday. Their weeks, the weeks that they release the information from are Sunday through Saturday, so we don't know for sure what ended up happening on Sunday or Monday, but those are also probably the lower volume sales days, so there's, a little bit of a silver lining to this. Not the silver bullet, that's Coors' gimmick, but you know what, hey man, if they're hoping to stem any of these 23, 24, 25 digit drops, maybe you should start adopting the marketing of Coors Light, but not its sister brand Miller Lite. That's another story in and of itself. But there's also another thing that you can learn from this as well, is that, okay, cool, what also was going on during the Memorial Day long weekend? All of those rebates, all of those sales, all of that clearance pricing. So what do you end up learning from this? Well, cheap beer sells. And if Bud Light hopes to stay on top and remain and grasp and hold on to that number one status, you guys better get comfortable selling your beer at about 7 cents a can. Sucks to suck, I guess. Bud Light's steep sales drops are showing signs of bottoming out. But the struggling beer brand is still on track to lose its number one status in the United States following its disastrous marketing tie-up with Dylan Mulvaney. Yeah, we'll also have to figure out when those rebates do in fact eventually lift, if it still has this same level of fervor around it. Maybe that's what they're trying to do, mostly because it's such a big company, they can kind of, just as long as we move enough product to make it look all right, because I know I've talked about this before, you can go ahead and take a little bit of a fiduciary hit, but hey, in the long term, we're eventually going to have to, ramp up production and put things back up to full price, but we can kind of tank it during the summer as long as we move a lot of product. It'll at least make it look like we're still popular. Nah, right? Not really. It's basically a big house of cards, and a big gust of wind is coming up over the horizon. Sales of Bud Light plunged 23.9% for the week ended May 27th, slightly better than the 25.7 drop a week earlier. So it's the first time in a long time it's actually gotten better. But you're still dealing with just about a quarter drop over the year. So, and marking the first time that the sales decline didn't grow worse versus the previous week. I will be very interested going forward, and especially with Independence Day. But, hey man, at least Bud Light bought itself a month-long buffer. But I even still know that that's really not on the horizon, especially for the Anheuser-Busch brands, because without having to double back and do 2 Bud Light videos or 2 Anheuser-Busch videos on the day, we already know what's happening with the other side of that, or another brand under their umbrella, and tune in tomorrow for that one, because oh boy, that one actually pisses me off a little bit more, but the sales data's out and you know what time it is. Anyways, drops for Anheuser-Busch's other brands, including Budweiser, Michelob Ultra, Busch Light, and Natty Light, also saw narrower drops than the week earlier amid a wider backlash against Bud Light and its parent company. Still, remember the rebates, remember the pricing. That plays a big part in this, because this is just simply about units moved, volume moved, nothing about profits at all whatsoever. Perhaps the bottom has been hit and we're seeing a turnaround in performance. Turnaround? Well, we'll have to see a consistent pattern. Bump Williams, head of the eponymous consulting firm, told the Post Anheuser-Busch's $15 rebates on 18 packs and larger amounts of Bud Light surely boosted sales over Memorial Day weekend. Experts say, yeah, I'm not an expert, I'm just an asshole with a microphone, and I suss that out there. But yeah, no, it's good to see that somebody else is picking up on the incredibly obvious. The brewer discounted the brand from May 17th through May 31st, and shoppers were scooping up $20 cases of Bud Light for $5 or less in some states, according to reports. Yeah, reports, pictures, but in the pictures that were taken, it really didn't seem like it was working, but maybe those are just cherry-picked examples. Price probably has a lot to do with the improved trends, Williams says. I expect to see a lot more price discounting on Anheuser-Busch portfolio this summer to try to persuade customers to come back. Hey man, maybe I've just been following the story so much, but that's basically what I said, just from a point of authority, right? Sales volume on number of cases sold containing 12 pounds or more was down 27.8% compared with 29.5%, marking the first time the sales decline didn't grow steeper in the 7 weeks that this data has been tracked. But yeah, Also interesting to note that that's the first uptick of the loss. So again, it's still a net negative in the grand scheme of things. Like, you're still trying to spin. It's like, well, we didn't lose as much, but yeah, your house is still on fire. But we still have a bedroom that's all right. I don't really know if that's a success or anything, but you go ahead and spin whatever you want. But yes, for the larger cases that are out there, and what was the stuff that was being discounted? The larger cases. Aha! Nevertheless, the 20% plus declines are endangering Bud Light's perch as the #1 beer in the United States, as Modelo has been outselling it for weeks now. Here's the numbers that I wanted to show you guys as well. During the week ending May 27th, Modelo Especial sales grew by 9.5% compared to over a year ago, as its sales volume was up by 4.7%. See, there you go. The two important numbers. Gross profits, 9.5% up. Sales volume, the amount of units moved, 4.7%. It doesn't take a rocket surgeon in order to figure out that that's a lot better than losing your ass by about a quarter-fold. The beer brand's market share is 8.2% compared with Bud Light's 7.2% for the week. Yeesh. Year to date, data shows that Bud Light remains the #1 beer at 9.1% market share compared with Modelo's 8 even market share, according to Bump Williams Consulting and Nielsen IQ. But yeah, just take a look. Take a look at what's going on right now. Bud Light is shedding it, and yet only Modelo's picking up just a 0.2 percentage point. That's interesting. That's interesting as well. Bud Light had better reverse the decline soon if it hopes to retain shelf space at retailers, a former Anheuser-Busch executive warned. Anson Fredericks, who headed Anheuser-Busch's sales and distribution department, said retailers usually reset shelf space allocations in the spring and the fall. And we went over that yesterday if you'd like to have a little bit more insight when dealing with that. So yeah, if Bud Light is starting to see just a little bit of an uptick, and a heavy emphasis on the little bit of an uptick, they're just going to go ahead and deeply discount everything through the end of the summer so that they can just go ahead and try to, coast through the holiday season. Just try to get through the big scary month of June, because they want you to pay attention to what the right hand is doing. Deep discounts. I just come and just drink the stuff. We don't really care at this point in time. We just need to move product. We can just, tank the hit. There's a bunch of other brands that are on there, hopefully, because the rest of them, yeah, they're dropping a little bit, but yeah, no, that's totally fine. It kind of sort of offsets things, and they can kind of do like the federal government. Yeah, we'll just print money and keep everybody happy for the time being. We just need to get through June, because also pay attention to this. Bud Light is also funding a bunch of Pride events, because of course they are. Of fucking course they are. Bud Light and Target continue to back Pride events after attempts to backpedal, because of course they do, man. Bud Light and Target continue to sponsor events during Pride Month despite widespread calls for boycotts of the brands over their advertising and marketing strategies that cater to LGBTQ audiences. Target, the nationwide retail chain, and Bud Light parent company Anheuser-Busch faced backlash for their efforts to appeal to the gay community at the behest of their actual user base. But even as they battle the negative publicity, Target and Bud Light haven't pulled away from this year's Pride celebrations. Target is a platinum sponsor of New York Pride event, which requires a $175,000 donation. Holy shit. I wonder when that disgusting, degenerate extravaganza ends up happening, because oh god, there's going to be something awful on there. And Anheuser-Busch, yes, Bud Light's parent company, is the sponsor of Pride celebrations in Chicago, San Francisco, Charlotte, and elsewhere. Many other big companies are sticking with their sponsorships as well, including Pepsi Company, of course, Starbucks, General Motors, and Jeep parent company Stellantis, all of which said they have been supporting Pride events for decades and aren't hesitating to back them again this year. Of course not. Target has long marketed to the gay community, yes, of course, and they're feeling the heat, and like I alluded to in the Target video from earlier today, they got a couple of things to say, but we'll be talking about that tomorrow. But it recently found itself at the center of the Bullseye campaign, and the angry customers tipped over Pride displays and threatened staff in some stores. But still, haven't talked about those bomb threats that were called in by the gay activists. No, don't want to mention that, but oh no, there were a couple of people that took YouTube videos, and I'm sure they were probably very cordial after the fact, and that definitely wasn't staged at all, right? Right, just like the Elliot Page Hoax? No. Oh, okay. 6 weeks earlier, transgender influencer Dylan Mulvaney revealed on social media, yeah, Bud Light partnership. And then there was that other tranny that shot an eerily similar video and then also had the Bud Light partnership that was on that. Just fucking weird. Coincidental, right? But it was just one can, one post. That's fine. Don't worry about it. Boycott threats immediately followed, fueled by conservative commentators such as, Matt Walsh, what is a woman? I got all the Twitter followers and I have a direct line to Twitter and I just needed to astroturf my campaign by saying everything's being tagged by hate speech and now I could just go ahead and artificially inflate. I got over 50 million views on my documentary on Twitter that was all free and had a whole lot of exposure thanks to getting the attention of Elon Musk, and he tweeted it out. Fucking hate Matt Walsh. Fuck him. Kohl's, Lego, and Southwest Airlines have taken heat for their gay-friendly marketing in recent days. I know that Kohl's stock has gone down. Did a video on them. Did a video on Lego. I have no idea what Southwest Airlines is up to outside of there's another video that's on the back burner for the time being, mostly because we have so much news coming out every single fucking day. But there was the pregnant lady beating the brakes off of some people that were on their way. No, that was Spirit Airlines. Same discount horseshit, same discount tactics. But the only thing that you need to know is in that line right there, the backlash has produced real consequences. I know, I'm shocked as well, Dylan. The month ending May 13th, Bud Light sales were down 23%. Target shares have plunged 20% since mid-May, wiping away $15 billion in market value, although that's partly due to investor concerns. Oh yeah, right, it's mitigated. It has nothing to do with the fact that nobody's buying stuff in there anymore. Some organizations have already distanced themselves from Bud Light because they felt it wasn't doing enough to support the gay community beyond the street parties in June. Yes, the gay bars in Chicago. Now, this situation, this is interesting. When Anheuser-Busch's multi-year sponsorship agreement with Miami Beach Pride ended in 2021, the organization signed a new multi-year contract with Molson Coors. Oh, great. Fantastic. That everybody who decided to switch from Bud Light to Coors Light or Miller Light is definitely not second-guessing their decision, and I'm sure they aren't scratching their head going, oh, geez, but I thought that this big company would definitely have my best interests in heart. Nope. Robert Laguerre, director of sponsorship for Miami Beach Pride, of course he's got a French last name, noted that Molson Coors seltzer brand Vizzy, oh my god, yes, exactly, made $1 million donation to the Human Rights Campaign and LGBT group. The same one that decided to strip away Bud Light or Anheuser-Busch's perfect score when it came to being an inclusive work environment. Goes to show you how nonsensical and how fucking political all this shit is. If you don't capitulate hard enough to the shifting whims of the gay agenda to the leftist agenda, then yeah, you will be ostracized. Guess what? You can never be woke enough for them. San Francisco Pride are sticking with Bud Light. Well, of course, somebody's got to. But bracing themselves for backlash when the attendees who think the brand should have done more with to support Mulvaney. Well, okay, even if they're still a big sponsor of the Pride event in Chicago, anyways, that one's still being sponsored on top of that. But the San Francisco one, even if, they have cans of Bud Light down there and they decide to open them up and spill them on the street in a sign of protest, at least you'd be cleaning up the streets. Or regardless, even if you just throw it all away, you could leave it on the corner and it wouldn't really make a noticeable difference when it comes to littering in that shithole. Ford, the executive director at Anheuser-Busch, has been a longtime patron and increased its donation to San Francisco Pride this year. Oh, really? Interesting. Increased it just this year, huh? Oh, but they donated in 2010 to Republicans. It's terrible. They're an awful brand. The group relies on sponsors to keep its two-day, $3 million festival free. What the fuck? Ford said, and the costs for labor and securities are skyrocketing. I don't know why. It's not like there's rampant violence and homelessness in San Francisco. Who could have possibly seen that coming? But at least they're inclusive. There is some tensions that we will be watching at, but on a local level, they've been a very great supporter. They've been fabulous. In its hometown of St. Louis, Bud Light will sponsor the main stage at Pride and provide the beer for the VIP event. Oh, great, said Jordan Braxton, the director of diversity, inclusion, and equity. No, just outreach this time around for St. Louis Pride. Times can be difficult, but they support us and we support them, Braxton said. They've been supporting us for years. It's not our fault that you just woke up and realized that, like, oh my god, they've been gay for a long time, and now y'all are just coming out and realizing that? Holy shit. Like, for fuck's sakes, for everybody to just fabricate their outrage. You need to get on my level and start boycotting all of these alcohol companies. I've been keeping a 33-year-long streak. What's your excuse? So, with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.